I opened my eyes. Sunlight was cutting through the gap in the curtains. My head pounded like someone had been hitting it with a hammer all night. I tried to roll over, but my arm brushed against something warm. Wait, I froze. Turned my head, a woman's face was right next to mine. Her hair was spread across the pillow. Pale skin, long lashes. She was still asleep. I looked down. I was still wearing yesterday's shirt. Collar open, 3 buttons undone. She was in pajamas, the blanket only covering her waist. My arm was draped across her hip. Brain short-circuited last night. How much had I drunk? Her lashes fluttered. I didn't have time to pull my arm back. Her eyes opened. We stared at each other. The air froze for about 3 seconds. She didn't scream, didn't slap me. She just looked at me. Her voice calmed. You're awake. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. She sat up, tucked her hair behind her ear, and glanced at me sideways. You blacked out last night. You wouldn't let go of me. Kept saying you were my boyfriend. My throat was dried. I couldn't pull you off. Couldn't push you away. She paused. You're really strong. My mind went blank. She got out of bed, walked to the door, and looked back. Rent's due today. The door closed. I sat there on the mattress, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it would jump out of my throat. My phone lit up. A text from my mom. Son, your sister said she wants to talk about the old house. What are you thinking? Your brother-in-law is pushing. If you don't want it, they're going to sell it. I stared at the screen. My fingers were ice cold. That house. It was my father's. My sister said, sell it. My brother-in-law said, split the money. Fair. But that house. My father left it to me. On his deathbed. I hadn't gotten around to transferring the title yet. 013 days ago. I was sitting in my rental apartment's living room. My phone was on speaker. My sister's voice came through. With that familiar impatience I'd grown up hearing. Ryan, what do you actually want? The house is just sitting there empty. Wouldn't it be better to sell it and split the money? I gripped the phone. My knuckles white. Jess, Dad said before he died, that house was for me. Dad said it. Jess laughed. Cold, Dad said it. When? Did I hear it? Did Mom hear it? She was there. Then what did Mom say? My mother's voice drifted in from the background. Soft, like she was afraid to offend anyone. I don't remember. My heart sank. Hear that? Jess's voice got louder. Mom doesn't even remember. Ryan, are you sure you're not misremembering? You were what? 20, 21. You were a kid. I was 22. Not 2. Fine. 22. So mature. Her tone changed. Suddenly soothing. Then you should understand. Your brother-in-law's business is struggling. We need money. Selling that house would help everyone breathe easier. You holding on to it alone. Does that really seem fair? I'm not holding on to it. The house has been empty. None of you live there. Empty is still an asset. Do you know what the market's doing right now? If we don't sell, and prices drop, who's going to cover the loss? I took a deep breath. Jess, I'm not saying don't sell. I'm saying Dad promised me a share. It shouldn't be split 3 ways. 3 ways. Her voice went sharp. Dad's house. All his kids have a share. You think you can just take it all? I don't want it all. I just want what Dad promised me. Where's your proof? A will. A recording. You've got nothing. What's your evidence? I opened my mouth. No words came out. She was right. I had no will. Dad had gone too fast. Nothing was written down. Just one sentence. Whispered to me on his hospital bed. Ryan, that house. It's yours. Your sister and her husband. Don't let them touch it. I nodded. I thought one sentence was enough. Now I knew. One sentence meant nothing. Jess hung up. I sat on the couch, staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzed again. The landlord. Mr. Joe, rent is due within 3 days. Late fees will apply per the lease. I opened my banking app. Checked the balance. $580. Rent was $470. I had 2 weeks until payday. I closed the app and turned the phone face down. The lock clicked. The door opened. My landlord walked in, carrying a bag of fruit. She saw me and paused. You're home. Yeah. She set the fruit on the table and looked at me. You look awful. What's wrong? Nothing. She didn't push. Walked into the kitchen. I heard the fridge open. Then a soft sigh. She poked her head out. Ryan, that pack of ribs in the fridge. It's been 3 days. It's going to go bad. That's yours. Mine. She blinked. Then laughed. Oh, right. I bought it yesterday. Was going to make sweet and sour ribs. But I worked till 10. She tied on an apron and started washing vegetables. I sat in the living room, watching her move around the kitchen. Something about it felt strange. I'd known her for 3 months. Her name was Nora. She was 32, 5 years older than me. This 2-bedroom apartment had been left to her by her parents. She took the master. I rented the 2nd bedroom. $470 a month. First and last plus security. When I'd first viewed the place, she was wearing a white t-shirt and jeans, hair in a ponytail, speaking crisp and direct, utilities split. Internet's on me. No overnight guests. No pets. No smoking inside. I'd said okay. 3 months. We'd kept our distance. She left early. Came back late. I worked later. Sometimes we'd run into each other in the living room. Exchange a nod. A hey, you're back. That was it. She poked her head out again. Ryan, have you eaten? Not yet. Then join me. I made plenty that I wanted to say no. But my stomach growled. Loud and unmistakable. She laughed. Don't be shy. I can't finish it all myself anyway. I got up and walked into the kitchen. She was stir-frying, the exhaust fan humming. I stood behind her, watching her flip the wok with practiced ease. That you're a good cook. Live alone long enough. You pick it up. She didn't turn around. What about you? I can make instant noodles. That counts. She laughed. Better than Derek. He couldn't even make instant noodles right. Derek. MYX. She said it casually. We broke up 6 months ago. I didn't know what to say. So I said nothing. She plated the food and handed it to me. Take this out. There's one more soup. I took the plate. My fingers brushed hers. She didn't pull away. Neither did I. For a moment. The air stopped. Then she turned back to the stove. I carried the plate to the table. At dinner. We sat across from each other. She put a piece of ribs on my plate. Try it. Tell me if it's too salty. I took a bite. It's good. Really, really. She smiled. Her eyes curved like crescent moons. Then eat more. I looked down at my bowl. But my mind was on the house. You've got something on your mind. She said suddenly. I looked up. That you've been frowning the whole time. She said, fight with your girlfriend. Don't have one. Family stuff. Then. I didn't deny it. She didn't push. Just put another rib on my plate. Eat first. Whatever it is. You can deal with it on a full stomach. That night, I lay in bed, unable to sleep. My phone lit up. My brother-in-law, Derek, Ryan, Jess told me about the house. I'm in a tight spot right now. Cash-wise. Could you be flexible? We're family. Let's not make this ugly. I didn't reply. Another message came through. If you really don't want to sell, that's fine. You could buy us out. Market value. Give Jess and Mom their shares. The house is yours. How about that? I stared at the screen. Market value. That house was worth at least $200,000 now. What was I supposed to buy it with? I could barely afford rent. I threw the phone aside and closed my eyes. All I could see was my father in those final days, skin and bone, holding my hand, his voice rustling like dry leaves. Ryan. The house. Don't let them touch it. I opened my eyes, stared at the ceiling. Dad. I'm sorry. I might not be able to hold on. 02 the next morning. I woke to my phone ringing. Derek. Ryan. You up? Yeah. Jess and I talked. We think we should meet in person. You free for lunch today? I sat up, rubbing my eyes. Where? That Hunan place near your place. Jess says their fish head is good. Okay. I hung up. Checked the time. 9:30. I walked out to the living room. Empty. But on the table sat a breakfast. 2 steamed buns. A cup of soy milk. A note beside it. I'm off to work. Buns from the shop downstairs. Eat them while they're hot. Nor I picked up a bun. Still warm. Took a bite. Pork and scallion. Good. 11:30. I arrived at the restaurant. Jess and Derek were already seated. Jess was my older sister, 6 years ahead. She worked as an accountant for a private firm. Derek ran a small renovation company. Business had been bad. I'd heard he was deep in debt. I sat down. Derek poured me tea with practiced warmth. Ryan. How's work? Fine. Good. Good. He patted my shoulder. You're young. Take your time. No rush. Jess didn't speak. She was studying the menu. The air was thick with unspoken tension. When the food came, Derek put a piece of fish head on my plate. Try it. This place is famous for it. I took a bite. Ryan. Derek set down his chopsticks, rubbing his hands together. About what Jess mentioned yesterday. Have you thought about it? I put down my chopsticks. Derek. I'm not saying don't sell. I'm saying Dad promised me a share. Dad promised you. Jess looked up. When? I wasn't there. You were at work that day. Right. I had a meeting. Couldn't get off. She laughed. Bitter. So you and Mom were alone in the room. Who knows what you two talked about? Mom was there. You can ask her. I asked. She said she doesn't remember. Mom doesn't want to take sides. Oh, what's your point? Ryan. That Mom's lying. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm saying she's old. Sometimes she forgets things. And you don't. You were 22. Are you sure you heard right? I'm sure. Prove it. Silence. Derek stepped in. All right. All right. Let's not fight. He sipped his tea, putting on his mediator face. Ryan. Listen to your brother-in-law for a minute. I've been married to your sister for years. I know her. She's not greedy. But you know our situation right now. The company's bleeding money. If we don't find a solution soon, we're done. That's your problem. Derek's smile froze. Ryan, that's not how it works. We're family. Your sister's problems are mine, and my problems, they affect her. Now we're in a tough spot. You can't just stand by and watch that I'm not watching. I'm just asking for what Dad gave me. What Dad gave you. Jess again. Ryan, be honest. The 2 years Dad was sick. Who took care of him? Me. You were still in school, only coming home on weekends. Mom was too weak to do much. I did everything. Hospitals, doctors, paperwork, all me. What did you do? I did what I could, what you could. Her voice dripped with sarcasm. You sat in a hospital room. That's what you could do. Did you pay the medical bills? No. Derek and I covered those. The funeral. Us again. Did you contribute a single cent? I didn't have money then. Didn't have money. Didn't have money. She slammed the table. Then don't fight over the house. I'm not. Dad didn't leave it to you. He did. Where's the proof? My fists clenched. My nails dug into my palms. Derek jumped in again. All right. Let's calm down. Ryan, let me propose something. He pulled out his phone. Opened a calculator app. House is worth about 200,000. Sell it. Pay off the debts. Say 40,000. Left with 160. Split 3 ways between Jess, you, and Mom. That's about 53 each. You don't pay a cent. You walk away with 53,000 cash. That's a good deal. I don't want the money. I want the house. Why? You don't live there. I'll live there. Jess frowned. You're renting now. Renting isn't owning. Then buy a smaller place with your share. Same difference. It's not the same. Explained. I couldn't put it into words. That house was Dad's gift. It wasn't about money. It was about a promise. Derek sighed, leaning back in his chair. Ryan, come on. We're family. Don't make this harder than it has to be. I'm not making it hard. I'm just asking for what's mine, yours. Jess laughed. Ryan, do you think the world owes you something? Dad's gone. Mom's weak. I've been holding this family together. And you do nothing but fight over a house. Have you no conscience? I have a conscience. Enough. Derek put a hand on Jess's arm. Let's stop. Ryan, think it over. We're not in a rush. You're not in a rush. Families shouldn't fight like this. He stood up and paid the bill. Jess grabbed her bag and walked out without looking back. I sat alone at the table, staring at half-eaten dishes. My phone buzzed. Nora, coming back for lunch. I made fish soup. I stared at the screen. My eyes stung. I typed one word back. Yes. I got back to the apartment. Nora was in the living room, watching TV. A big bowl of fish soup steamed on the coffee table. You're back. She looked up. Wash up. Let's eat. I washed my hands and sat across from her. She filled a bowl of rice for me and put a piece of fish on top. Try it. First time making it. Not sure if it's good. I took a bite. It was delicious. 100 times better than what I'd just had. How is it? Good. She smiled. Eat more. I lowered my head and started eating. And then without warning tears fell into my bowl. I ducked my head, pretending I'd choked on the chili. She didn't say anything. Just put another piece of fish on my plate. After dinner, I offered to do the dishes. She leaned against the kitchen doorway, watching me. Ryan, yet if you're struggling with something, you can tell me. My hands paused over the sink. I'm fine. You're not. Her voice was soft. Every time you lie, your right ear turns red. I touched my right ear instinctively. She laughed. I turned around. She was leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed. Her gaze was calm. It's family stuff. I said, what kind? My dad left me a house. My sister wants to sell it. And you don't want it. No. Why? It was his. He left it to me. She nodded. Didn't push further. Need help? I blinked. What did I said? If you need help, I might not be able to do much. But 2 heads are better than 1. I looked at her. Something warm rising in my chest. Thanks. You're welcome. She turned to go. Oh. And about the rent. Don't worry about it. If you're tight, you can pay late. I stood there, dishcloth still in hand. Nora. She looked back. Why are you so good to me? She blinked, then laughed. Because you're my tenant. She walked into the living room. I stood in the kitchen, listening to the TV in the next room. Something in my chest had been gently knocked loose. That night, I lay in bed, turning restlessly. I pulled up my contacts. A name I hadn't messaged in a while. Sam. Attorney. An old college friend. Now working at a law firm. I hesitated. Then typed, Sam. You around? Need some advice? I stared at the screen. No reply. I was about to set the phone down when it lit up. Nora. Can't sleep. I blinked. How do you know? I can't hear you tossing. Sorry. Did I wake you? No. A pause. Then, want a drink? I stared at the screen. My heart skipped. Sure. I walked out. She was already in the living room, 2 cans of beer on the table. A bag of peanuts. She patted the sofa beside her. Come sit. I sat. She handed me a beer. Here. I took it. Popped the tap. And drank. Cold. What are you going to do about your family? She asked. I don't know. Are you going to give in? No, then don't. I turned to look at her. She was leaning back on the sofa, staring at the ceiling. Her voice calm. Some things that you give in once. You give in forever. I didn't speak. She turned to me. What your dad left you. It's not just a house. Is it? I blinked. She smiled. I'm good at reading people. You're not greedy. What you're fighting for. It's something else. I looked down. Didn't deny it. Then don't let go. She said. If you let go, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I looked at her. Something in my chest tightened. Nora. Yeah. Why do you live alone? She was quiet for a moment. Because I don't want to settle. Settle for what? For a person. For a relationship. For a way of life. She took a sip of beer. I'd rather be alone than settled. I looked at her. There was something about her. Not just pretty. Clear-eyed. Self-aware. What about you? She asked. Why are you alone? Haven't met the right person. I asked that the truth. Or are you just afraid? I blinked. She smiled. Forget I asked. We finished 2 beers and went back to our rooms. I lay in bed, replaying her words. Some things that you give in once. You give in forever. I picked up my phone. Sam had replied. What's up? I typed. My dad left me a house. No will. Now I need to prove it was meant for me. Any options? Sam replied quickly. That's tough. Without a written will, you'd need witness statements, recordings, written notes. Did your dad leave any documentation? Or were there witnesses? I thought. Typed. My mom was there. But she won't testify. Why not? Afraid of making my sister angry. Sam was quiet for a moment. Then, that makes it difficult. No will. No witness. Legally, it defaults to standard inheritance. Spouse and children split equally. I stared at the screen. Cold fingers. Any other way. Unless you can find written evidence. Letters. Recordings. Videos. Something direct. Otherwise, your odds in court are slim. I put down the phone. Closed my eyes. Written evidence. Recordings. Videos. Dad had gone too fast. Nothing left behind. Wait. I remembered something. When Dad was in the hospital. One day, when Jess wasn't there and Mom had stepped out to get food. It was just the 2 of us. He held my hand and talked for a long time. I'd sensed something was wrong. I pulled out my phone and recorded it. After he died, I was too heartbroken to listen to it. Phones changed. But that recording. I'd saved it to the cloud. I sat up straight. I opened my cloud storage. Scrolled. Found it. A folder labeled Dad. Inside .1 audio file. Dated 3 days before he passed. I took a deep breath. Pressed play. .03. The recording started with static. Then my father's voice. Weak. Faint as a candle in the wind. Ryan. Dad might not have much time left. My eyes burned. Don't cry. Just listen. The house. Your father put everything into that house. I'm leaving it to you. Don't tell your sister. She's married now. She has her own family. You're different. You're not settled yet. The house is for you. For when you get married. Your mom? She's soft-hearted. Whatever your sister says, she'll agree. Don't blame her, Ryan. Dad's sorry. I didn't leave you much. Just this house. Hold on to it. The recording ended. I stared at the screen. Tears dripped onto the glass. Evidence. This was evidence. I backed up the file to another cloud drive. Sent a copy to Sam. Sam. I found a recording. My dad. Before he died. Clear as day. He says the house is mine. Can this hold up in court? Sam replied fast. Yes. A recording is admissible if the voice is identifiable and the content is clear. Send it over. I'll take a look. I sent the file. 10 minutes later. Sam's response came through. Quality is good. Voice is clear. Content is explicit. This is strong evidence. If your sister takes you to court, this recording could flip the case. I gripped my phone. Fingers trembling. But, Sam added, it'd help to have a witness. If your mom could testify. That plus the recording would be nearly airtight. I stared at the screen. Mom. Would she be willing? The next morning, I called my mom. Mom. I want to talk about the house. She was quiet for a long moment. Ryan. Your sister talked to me. Just listen to her. Sell it. Split the money. Everyone will be fine, Mom. Before Dad died, he told me the house was mine. You were there. Do you remember? Another long pause, Mom. I don't need you to argue for me. I just need you to tell me if you remember. Aside. I remembered. My heart raced. Then will you help me? Ryan. Mom. I'm not greedy. I just want to keep what Dad wanted me to have. You don't want his life's work to go to waste. Do you? A long silence. Then my mother's voice. Cracking. Ryan, it's not that I don't want to help. But your sister? Derek's business is failing. They fight all the time. If the house doesn't sell, They'll fall apart. That's their problem. Ryan, Mom. One question. Will you help me? Silence. Then. Let me think about it. She hung up. I sat on the couch. A weight pressing on my chest. My phone buzzed. Nora. It's the weekend. Want to go to the grocery store with me? I stared at it. Typed. Sure. The grocery store was packed. Nora pushed the cart. I walked beside her. She put in rice, cooking oil, eggs, flour. You bake? I asked out a little. She said, my grandmother taught me. Her hand-pulled noodles were the best. She passed a few years ago. Sorry. It's okay. She smiled. Everyone goes. People who leave. You carry them in your heart. I looked at her. There was something in her. A clarity. Nora. Yeah. How many relationships have you had? She blinked, then laughed. Out of nowhere. Just curious, she thought. 2. One in college. One after. Both ended. What happened? She pushed the cart forward. Voice even. The first one. He wanted to move away. I didn't want to leave this city. The second one. He wanted to get married. I didn't. Why not? She stopped. Turned to look at me. Because he wasn't the right person. How do you know? You just know. She smiled. When you meet the right one. You'll know. She walked on. I stood there, watching her go. White hoodie, jeans, sneakers, ordinary clothes. But in my eyes she looked beautiful. That night. At home. I sat in the living room and played the recording again. My father's voice. Ryan. Hold on to it. I clenched my fist. I will. The next day. I got a call from Jess. Ryan. Mom told me you asked her to testify. Yes. Are you insane? Her voice was sharp with anger. You want Mom to go to court? She's old. You'd put her through that. I just want her to say what she remembers. She doesn't remember anything. She does? Ryan. Jess's voice went shrill. What do you actually want? Do you want to drag this to court? Do you want to tear this family apart? I don't want to tear anything apart. I just want what's mine. Yours. That house is Dad's. Not yours. Dad gave it to me. Proof that I have a recording. Silence. What recording? Her voice changed. Before Dad died. I recorded him. He said, the house is mine. You're lying. I'm not. Want to hear it? Silence. 10 seconds. Then Jess said, quietly, Ryan, you're cruel. She hung up. I held the phone. Heart pounding. I knew this was the beginning of war. That night. Derek called. His tone was much more careful. Ryan. Jess told me about the recording. I'd like to talk. You free? About what? About the house. Let's sit down. Work something out. There's nothing to work out. The house is mine, Ryan. Don't be hasty. Listen. Even if you have a recording, going to court costs time and money. You're young. Why waste the energy? Let's settle it privately. I'll give you a sum. You walk away. Clean and simple. How much? $80,000. I laughed. Market value is $200,000. You're offering me 80. Ryan. 80 is still a lot. You could put a down payment on a smaller place. I want the house. Derek. No more. The house is not for sale. If you think you're in the right, see you in court. I hung up. My phone rang again. Mom. Ryan. Jess called me. Crying. She said you're suing her, Mom. I don't want to sue. I just want what Dad left me. Ryan. Can't you just give in? We're family, Mom. I've already given in too many times. If I give in again, I'll have nothing left. My mother started crying on the phone. Ryan. I'm begging you. Please. Don't do this. I'm old. I can't take this. I closed my eyes. Took a deep breath. Mom. I'm sorry. I hung up. That night. I sat alone in the living room. No lights. Streetlight bled through the window, casting a dim yellow glow on the floor. Nora came out of her room. Saw me in the dark. Why aren't the lights on? I didn't answer. She sat down beside me. Fight with the family again. Yeah. She was quiet for a moment. Then she stood, went into the kitchen. A lighter flicked. She came back with a steaming mug of water and handed it to me. Drink. I took it. It was hot. Nora. Yeah. What do you think family is? She was quiet for a moment. Family. She said softly. It's when you know they're hurting you. But you still can't bring yourself to hurt them back. I looked down at the water. Do you think I should give in? No. I looked up. She looked at me. Her gaze was steady. Some things given once. You give in forever. What your dad left you. It's not just a house. It's trust. A promise. If you give that up, how will you live with yourself? I looked down. My eyes stung. But my mom. Your mom is your mom. You are you. Her voice was soft. You can't sacrifice your whole life for someone else's peace. I didn't speak. She stood. Patted my shoulder. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's another battle. She turned to go. Nora. She looked back. Thank you. She smiled. You're welcome. She went back to her room. Closed the door. I sat in the dark, holding the warm mug. Something in my chest felt full point zero for the next morning. I was woken by a knock. I opened the door. Two people stood outside. Jess and Derek. Ryan. We need to talk. Jess's face was hard. I stepped aside. Come in. They walked in and sat on the couch. Nora came out of her room. Saw them. And paused. My sister. I said. She nodded. You talk. I'll go out for a bit. She grabbed her bag and left. The living room fell silent. Jess spoke first. Ryan. Play me the recording. I pulled out my phone and hit play. Dad's voice filled the room. The house that your father put everything into that house. I'm leaving it to you. Don't tell your sister. The recording ended. Silence. Jess stared at the floor. Derek's face was dark. Ryan. Jess looked up. Her eyes red. Do you really have to do this? Jess. I don't want to fight. I just want what Dad wanted for me. What Dad wanted. Her voice cracked. What about me? Am I not his daughter too? You are. But Dad said that the house is mine. Why did I don't know why. But it was his final wish. I can't go against it. Derek cut in. Ryan. Let's try this. The house sells for 200. You take 100. Jess takes 60. Mom takes 40. Deal. I don't want money. I want the house. What are you going to do with it? You're not living there. I will. On what salary? Property tax. Maintenance. Repairs. You can afford that. That's my problem. Ryan. Jess stood up. Are you trying to destroy me? I'm trying to protect what's mine. Yours. She laughed. Bitter and wet. With that recording, all you're doing is forcing my hand. Just admit the house was Dad's gift to me. And if I do, what do I get? You get to stop trying to take it. Jess stared at me. Tears fell. Ryan. You've changed. I haven't changed. You pushed me to this. Derek stood. Took Jess's arm. We'll go. Ryan. Think about it. They left. I sat on the couch, staring at the closed door. A few minutes later, the door opened again. Nora walked in with a bag of fruit. Gone. Yeah. She set the fruit down and sat beside me. Are you okay? Yeah. Your sister looked upset. Do you regret it? I was quiet. Then, no, she nodded. Good. She stood and went to the kitchen. I heard her washing fruit. A few minutes later, she came out with a plate of sliced apples and set it in front of me. Eat. I picked up a slice. Sweet. Nora. Yeah. Did I do something wrong? She looked at me. Come. You did nothing wrong. You're protecting what's yours. But Mom is hurting. Your mom is hurting because she's caught in the middle. That's not your fault. Jess is hurting too. Jess is hurting because she didn't get what she wanted. That's also not your fault. I looked at her. Something in my chest opened. You always see things so clearly, because I'm outside of it. She smiled. When you get to my age, you will too. 32 is not old. Old enough to see a lot. She patted my shoulder. Don't overthink. Eat. Sleep. Life goes on. She went back to her room. I sat in the living room, looking at the apple slices. The weight in my chest felt lighter. That afternoon, Sam called. Ryan. I reviewed that recording several times. It's solid, but I'd still recommend finding a witness. Ideally someone who was present. Why Mom won't testify? Then we'll have to rely on the recording alone. The court may accept it. But if your sister pushes back, there could be issues. Then what do I do? I'd suggest trying to settle first. Only go to court if you have no other option. She won't settle. Then court it is. But that takes time and money. Be ready. Got it. I hung up and sat on the couch. My mind was my phone buzzed. Nora. Dinner. I'm cooking. I stared at the screen. Warmth spread through my chest. Anything. I'll eat whatever you make. Good. Braised pork it is. That evening, I sat at the table as Nora brought out a plate of braised pork. Glossy dark red. Fat and lean layered. Steaming. Tried. I took a bite. Tender. Not too greasy. Melted on my tongue. It's good. She smiled. Eat more. I lowered my head over the bowl. Thoughts drifting. Nora. Yeah. How hard is it to hold on to something? She set down her chopsticks and looked at me. Hard. But worth it. Why? Because some things once you lose them, you never get them back. I looked at her. Something in my chest hit. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I lay in bed, replaying the day's events. Jess's tears. Mom's sobs. Derek's cold smile. And Nora's words. Some things once you lose them, you never get them back. I picked up my phone. Played the recording again. Dad's voice. Ryan. Hold on to it. I clenched the phone. I will. No matter what it takes. 05. 3 days later. Jess called. Ryan. Tomorrow. 3 p.m. At the old house. Mom will be there. We're settling this once and for all. Okay. I hung up and sat on the couch. My heart was racing. I knew this was the final showdown. Nora came out of her room. Saw my face. What happened? Jess wants to meet tomorrow. At Dad's house. Final settlement. She was quiet for a moment. Want me to come? I blinked. I don't think. Are you sure? I hesitated. If you're willing, then I'll come. The next day. 2.30. Nora and I arrived at the old house. 2-bedroom, 1 living room. Not big, but kept clean. Mom was already there, sitting on the couch. She looked pale. Jess and Derek sat across from her. The air was suffocating. Jess saw Nora and frowned. Who's she? My friend. You brought an outsider. She's my friend. Not an outsider. Jess laughed coldly. Fine. Bring whoever. Let's just get this over with. I sat beside Mom. Nora sat next to me. Derek spoke first. Ryan. We called you here to have a final conversation about the house. What's your decision? My decision hasn't changed. The house is Dad's gift to me. I won't give it up. Ryan. Jess's voice was cold. Do you think that recording means you've won? I'm not trying to win. I just want what Dad left me. What Dad left you. Jess stood up and pulled a piece of paper from her bag. Slapped it on the table. Look at this. I picked it up. My hands went cold. It was a will. Dad's handwriting. Dated 2 days before he died. It said, the house is to be split equally among Jess, Mom, and Ryan. Where did this come from? Dad wrote it. Jess was staring at me. You think you're the only one with evidence. Dad left something for me too. I held the will. My hands were trembling. This can't be right. Dad told me. Told you what? That the house was yours. Jess laughed. Ryan. He lied to you. He didn't want to leave it just to you. He was just comforting you. No, look at it. You know his handwriting. Don't you? I looked down. It was Dad's handwriting. I recognized it. My hands shook harder. Ryan. Mom's voice. Soft. Jess is right. Your dad did write this will. He gave it to me before he died. I turned to Mom. Why didn't you tell me, Guy? I was afraid. She dropped her head. I was afraid of how you'd take it. I sat there. Head spinning. Jess looked at me. Triumphant. Ryan. Anything else to say? I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Nora took my hand. I turned to her. She looked at me. Steady. Ryan. Her voice was soft. Don't panic. I took a breath. I tried to calm down. Jess, can I take a photo of this will? Take it. Won't change anything. I pulled out my phone and took photos of each page. Then I stood. I need time. Ryan. Jess called after me. What's your decision? I need time. You have everything you need. What else is there? I said I need time. I walked out. Nora followed. I stood outside the old house, breathing hard. Nora stood beside me. Nora, yeah. I asked the will real? I don't know. She paused. But something doesn't add up. I turned to her. Your dad tells you in a recording that the house is yours. But he also wrote a will splitting it 3 ways. Why would he do both? I blinked. Unless. She said. The will was written under circumstances he didn't control. A thought hit me. Are you saying the will is forged? Maybe. Or maybe not. But it's worth checking. I pulled out my phone and called Sam. Sam. New development. My sister produced a will. Dad's handwriting. Says the house is split 3 ways. But Dad's recording says it's mine. Which one is valid? Sam was quiet for a moment. Are you sure it's your father's handwriting? Looks like it. Looks like it. And is it? Are 2 different things. You'd need a handwriting analysis. How do I do that? Take it to a professional. But you need the original. Do you have the original? No. My sister has it. Then it's hard. If you can't access the original, you can't authenticate. I hung up. Cold dread settled in my chest. Nora looked at me. What did I need the original for handwriting analysis? But Jess has it. She won't give it to me. Nora was quiet for a moment. Ryan. Think about it. If your sister had this will all along, why didn't she produce it before you brought up the recording? I blinked. Exactly. She said. Are you saying, maybe the will was written more recently, but the handwriting can be copied? I stared at her. My heart pounded. You're right. Something is off. What are you going to do? I need the original. How? I was quiet. I have an idea. That night, I called Jess. Jess, I thought it over. We can sell. There was a pause. Really? But I have one condition. What did I want to look at Dad's will again? I want to be sure it's real. What's that supposed to mean? Just let me see it. I'll sign after. Another long pause. Then, fine. Tomorrow. Same place. Okay. I hung up. My heart was pounding. Nora came out of her room. What happened? She agreed. And what's your plan? I'm going to get the original. For analysis, she'll let you take it. No. But I'll photograph it. Really clearly. Every page. Nora looked at me. Concern in her eyes. Ryan. Be careful. Your sister's not that easy to fool. I know. The next afternoon, I was back at the old house. Jess was already there. Holding the will. Here. Looked. I took it. Examined it carefully. The paper was slightly yellowed. The writing looked like Dad's. But something was off. I pulled out my phone and started photographing every page. Why so many photos? Jess frowned. Souvenir. Of what? Dad's will. Find out. I finished the last page and handed it back. Done. She asked. Done. Then signed. I need more time. Ryan. Her face went dark. You're playing games. I'm not. I just need time. I turned and walked out. Ryan. Jess shouted behind me. If you back out. We're done. I didn't look back. I got in the car. Nora was behind the wheel. Got them. Got them. Did you send them to Sam? Already did. My phone buzzed. Sam's reply, photos received. I can get them analyzed. But I'd suggest finding more evidence. This alone might not be enough. I put the phone down and leaned back. Nora. Yeah. Well, I win. She turned to look at me. Her gaze was steady. Yes. How do you know? Because you have no other choice. I looked at her. Something in my chest swelled. Let's go home. I said. She started the car. We pulled out of the neighborhood, merging into traffic. I leaned back and watched the streets blur past. One thought in my mind, Dad. I'll hold on. 3 days later. Sam sent a message. Results are in. I opened the attachment. A formal forensic report. The conclusion read, the signature on the submitted will show significant discrepancies from the reference samples. It was not written by the same person. I stared at the screen. My hands trembled. Jess's will was forged. I picked up my phone and called Nora. Nora, the results are back. The will is fake. 2 seconds of silence. Then, what are you going to do? I'm going to confront her. In person. We're at the old house. Tomorrow. I'll get Mom, Jess, Derek, everyone. Want me there? Yes. I hung up and sat on the couch, staring at the forensic report. My heart pounded, but it wasn't anxiety. It was anticipation. Tomorrow. Everything would end. 06 the next afternoon. 2:30. I arrived at the old house. Nora was behind me. Jess and Derek were already there. Mom sat on the couch, pale and anxious. Ryan. Jess's face went dark when she saw me. What now, Jess? I have something to show you. I pulled the forensic report from my bag and set it on the table. What's this? Handwriting analysis report. Jess's face went pale. You had it analyzed. Yes, how? You didn't have the original. I used the photos you gave me. Photos can't be. They can. Professional labs can analyze photos. Jess's face was ashen. Derek jumped in. Ryan. What are you implying? You think Jess forged it? I'm not implying. I opened the report, pointed to the conclusion. The will's signature. It's not Dad's. Silenced. Jess's face was white as paper. Mom stared. Open-mouthed. Ryan. She whispered. What are you saying, Mom? I turned to her. That will was forged. Someone copied Dad's handwriting. My mother turned to Jess. Jess, is that true? Jess didn't speak. She stared at the floor, her fingers trembling. Jess. I looked at her. Why did you do this? Still nothing. Derek started shouting. Ryan. Don't accuse her. Do you have proof it was her? I'm not saying it was her. But she produced it. She needs to explain where it came from. I found it in Dad's things. Jess's voice was small. Which things? They in old box. Where's the box? I threw it away. Threw it away. I laughed. Jess, your story isn't very convincing. Ryan. Her voice cracked. What do you want? Are you trying to destroy me? I just want the truth. The truth is, the report says the will isn't Dad's. We can test it again. With the original. Jess went silent. You have it, don't you? I said. Produce it. Let's test it. She said nothing. Derek jumped in. Ryan. You're going too far. I'm going too far. I looked at him. You faked a will. You tried to defraud me. Who exactly went too far? Derek's face flushed crimson. He couldn't speak. Mom started crying. Jess, what did you do? Tell me the truth. Jess looked up. Her face was streaked with tears. I wrote it. The room went still. Jess. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. Mom. I'm sorry. Jess covered her face. Derek's company is going under. We're drowning in debt. If I didn't get the house, we'd be ruined. Derek stood frozen, unable to meet anyone's eyes. I looked at them. A strange feeling rose in my chest. Not anger, grief. Jess. My voice was quiet. Do you know what you did? Yes. She sobbed. I know. But I was desperate. I had no choice. You had a choice. You could have told me the truth. You could have said you needed help. I was afraid you'd say no. Did you even try? She looked up, tears streaming. Ryan. I'm sorry. I looked at her. Something in my chest blocked. Jess. I spoke slowly. I won't press charges about the forgery. But the house I'm not giving it up. She put her head down. Derek started shouting. Ryan. She apologized. What more do you want? I want what's mine. Then Derek. I looked at him. Say one more word, and I'm calling the police. Forgery of a will is a criminal offense. Derek went pale. He shut his mouth. I turned to Mom. Let's go, she stood, wiping her eyes, and followed me out at the door. I looked back. Jess was still sitting on the couch, head down, shoulders shaking. Something tightened in my chest, but I knew that I couldn't be weak. Some things, given once, given forever. That I stood outside the old house, breathing the fresh air. Nora was beside me. Nora. Yeah. Did I do the right thing? She stepped in front of me and looked into my eyes. Her gaze was steady. You did, but she's my sister. She is, but she did wrong. Nora's voice was soft. You did right. You don't need to feel guilty for her mistakes. That I looked at her. Something in my chest opened. Come on, she said. Let's go home. I nodded. We got in the car, drove away. I leaned back and watched the sunlight outside. Something in my chest finally felt like it was lifting. 07 the next day. Sam called. Ryan, have you heard from your sister? No. She confessed yesterday. The will was forged. What are you going to do? Press charges. No. I don't want to. Why not? Forgery is a crime. She could go to jail. I know. But she's my sister. Sam was quiet. Are you sure? Yes. Well then. What about the house? The house is mine. I'm going to transfer the title. Need help? Yeah. Handle the paperwork. Done. I'll give you a discount. Thanks. I hung up and sat on the couch. I opened the recording and listened again. Dad's voice. Ryan, hold on to it. I clenched the phone. Dad. I held on. That afternoon, I went to the county recorder's office. Sam had set everything up. A week later, the title deed was in my name. I stood outside the office, holding the paper, reading my name on it. Something rose in my chest. Not excitement. Relief. I called Mom. Mom, the transfer is done. The house is in my name. She was quiet for a long time. Ryan, Mom, don't worry. I won't sell it. You're always welcome to stay. She started crying on the phone. Ryan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Mom. You have nothing to be sorry for. You were just stuck in the middle. What about Jess? I won't press charges. But she can't touch the house again. I know. I know. I hung up and stood outside the county building. Looked up at the sky. The sun was bright. I took a deep breath. For the first time in months. The weight was gone. That night, I got back to the apartment. Nora was cooking. Your back. She poked her head out. All done. All done. Congratulations. Thanks. She smiled and went back to the stove. I stood in the kitchen doorway, watching her. Nora. Yet I want to take you out. To dinner. She turned. Surprised. Why? For helping me. I didn't do much. You did everything. I said. Without you, I would have given up. She looked at me. A smile in her eyes. Okay. What are we having? Whatever you want. I want hot pot. Done. Tomorrow night. My treat. She smiled. Deal. Deal. The next night, we sat in a hot pot restaurant. Spicy broth bubbling red. Steam rising. I poured her a glass of plum juice. To me for what? For pulling me back when I was about to fall. She raised her glass and clinked it against mine. To yourself. For holding on. We drank. She set down her glass and looked at me. Ryan, what's next for you? Work. Life. Fix up the house. Maybe move Mom in. And your sister. She's my sister. I won't cut her off, but I'll draw a line. She nodded. That sounds fair. What about you? I asked. She smiled. Same as always. Just keep going. Don't you ever think about finding someone? She paused. Then, I think about it. Just haven't found the right one. What's the right one? She thought for a moment. Someone who makes life better than being alone. I looked at her. Something in my chest stirred. Nora. Do I count? She blinked. Steam rose between us. She looked at me with a strange expression. Then she smiled. That you're too young. That I'm 27. That I'm 32.5 years. 0.5 years is a lot. That it's not. She didn't answer. Just smiled and turned back to her food. I looked at her. Something in my chest blocked. That night, we walked home. The streets were quiet. Streetlights stretched our shadows long. Nora. Yeah. Can I pursue you? She stopped. Turned to look at me. Ryan. Do you know what you're saying? I do. Are you sure? Yes. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she smiled. You can try. She turned and walked on. I stood there, heart pounding. Then I followed. 08 1 month later. The house situation was settled. Jess hadn't caused more trouble. Derek's company went under. He was buried in debt. Jess divorced him and moved back to Mom's place with the kids. Mom called me. Asked if Jess could stay in the old house for a while. I said yes. She was still my sister. She was still Mom's daughter. And it was my house. I moved into the house myself. Fixed up the guest room for Mom and Jess. Took the master for myself. Nora's apartment. I didn't cancel the lease. I still paid rent every month. Some weekends, I'd go back and stay. She told me. You don't have to pay rent anymore. I said. No. A tenant is a tenant. She laughed and said nothing. Point one night, I sat in the living room of the old house, looking at Dad's photo on the wall. I played the recording one more time. Ryan, hold on to it. I smiled. Dad. I held on. My phone buzzed. Nora, weekend, grocery run. I stared at the screen. A smile spread across my face. Okay. The next day, we met at the supermarket. She pushed the cart. I walked beside her. What do you want to eat? She asked. Whatever you want. Then I'll make boiled fish. Okay. She put fish, bean sprouts, chilies in the cart. Nora. Yeah. How hard is it to hold on to something? She stopped, turned to look at me. Hard, but worth it. Why? Because some things that once you lose them, you never get them back. I looked at her. Something in my chest filled. Nora. Yeah. I love you. She froze. The supermarket bustled around us. Loud chatter, carts clanking. But she seemed to hear nothing. She just looked at me. Then she smiled. I know. And you? She was quiet for a moment. Then, I love you too. My heart pounded. Then, let's be together. She smiled. Okay. That night, we sat on the balcony of the old house, drinking beer, looking at the stars. Nora. Yeah. Oh, you think we'll be together forever? She turned to look at me. Her gaze was soft. I don't know. You don't know. Who knows what the future brings? She smiled. But at least we're together now. I looked at her. Something in my chest opened. That's enough? Yeah. She leaned against my shoulder. I put my arm around her. The night was cool, but inside I was warm. My phone buzzed. Mom. Ryan. Jess is moving out tomorrow. The house is yours again. I stared at the screen. Something rose in my chest. I typed. Okay. Then I put down the phone. Looked at the stars. Dad. I held on. And I found someone I want to hold on with. 093 months later. Jess moved out. Took the kids to Mom's place. Derek had vanished. Gone to another state. They said. Hiding from debt. Mom came to stay sometimes. She cooked for me. Cleaned. Every time. She'd stand in front of Dad's photo and say something I couldn't hear, but I could feel it. The weight in her heart had lifted. Nora moved in. She said. You're never at the apartment anyway. I might as well come here. Save on rent. I said. Okay. The day she moved, I carried her bags. She didn't have much. 2 suitcases. 1 bag. That was it. Live alone long enough. She said. You end up with less. I carried her bags to the bedroom. She stood in the doorway, looking around. This room gets good light. Yeah. The sun comes in the mornings. She smiled and started unpacking. I stood in the doorway, watching her. Nora. Yeah. Thank you. She turned, surprised. For what? For being with me. She looked at me. Her gaze was soft. Idiot. She came over and hugged me. I held her, breathing in the scent of her hair. Something in my chest filled. That night, we sat on the balcony, tea in hand. City lights below. Ryan. Yeah. What do you think the future will be like? I thought. I don't know. But as long as you're here, it can't be that bad. She smiled and leaned against my shoulder. Same. My phone buzzed. Sam. Ryan. Your sister been quiet? Yeah. She moved out. Good. It's settled then. Thanks. Sam. Anytime. I put down the phone and looked at the stars. Nora. Yeah. If Dad were here, do you think he'd like you? She blinked, then laughed. Probably. I'm pretty great. After all. I laughed. Yeah. You are. She turned to look at me. Ryan. Yeah. I love you. My heart skipped. I love you too. That night, we sat on the balcony until late. The wind was cool, but I was warm. The road ahead was long. But with her beside me, I wasn't afraid. 10 1 year later, the old house balcony was full of Nora's flowers. Roses, jasmine, gardenias, all blooming. I sat on the balcony, a cup of tea in hand, watching the street below. Nora poked her head out of the kitchen. Ryan, can you get me the soy sauce? Coming. I walked in and handed it to her. She was stir-frying, the hood fan humming. What's for dinner? Braised ribs, veggies, tomato egg drop soup. Sounds good. Of course. Your girlfriend's cooking. When is it ever bad? I laughed and hugged her from behind. Stop. I'm cooking. Just for a second. She laughed, but didn't push me away. I held her, breathed in the scent of her hair. Something in my chest. Full. My phone buzzed. Mom. Ryan. I'm coming over tomorrow. Jess is coming too. I blinked. After that last confrontation, Jess and I had barely spoken. Occasional group chat messages. Polite. Distant. Okay. I'll tell Nora. I told Nora. She blinked. Okay. I'll make extra food. You don't mind. Mind what? My sister. Old things stay in the past. She smiled. She's your sister. That doesn't change. I looked at her. Warmth rose in my chest. Nora. Yeah. Thank you. She smiled. You're welcome. The next day, Mom and Jess came. Jess had lost weight. She looked tired. She saw Nora, paused, and nodded to hi. Nora smiled. Come in. Jess walked into the living room. She saw the flowers on the balcony and stopped. These are beautiful. Nora planted them. I said. Jess said nothing. She just looked at the flowers. Something unreadable in her eyes. Dinner was awkward. Mom filled the silence with chatter. Jess kept her head down. Nora put a rib on Jess's plate. Try it. My braised ribs. Jess blinked. Thanks. She took a bite. That it's good. Nora smiled. Eat more? Jess lowered her head and kept eating. I looked at her. Something in my chest tight. After dinner, Jess offered to wash the dishes. Nora sat with Mom in the living room. I walked into the kitchen and stood beside her. Jess, yeah. How have you been? She paused. All right, the kids, good. They're in preschool now. That's good. She turned to look at me. Ryan. Yet I'm sorry. I blinked. For everything. The forgery. The way I pushed you. Her eyes were red. I'm sorry, Jess. It's in the past. Is it? Though. Yes, you're my sister. That doesn't change. She looked at me. Tears falling. Ryan. Thank you. I stepped forward and hugged her. She cried into my shoulder. I held her. Something in my chest. Not forgiveness. Letting go. That afternoon, Jess and Mom left. The house was quiet again. I sat on the balcony, looking at the flowers. Nora came and sat beside me. Your sister left. Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. She leaned against my shoulder. I put my arm around her. Nora. Yet I want to marry you. She stared at me. Then she smiled. Okay. That night, I stood on the balcony, looking at the stars. The recording was still on my phone. I played it one more time. Ryan. Hold on to it. I smiled, Dad. I held on. And I found someone to hold on with. I turned and looked at Nora, watching TV in the living room. Something in my chest opened. Nora. Yet I love you. She turned and smiled. I love you too. The wind was cool. But I was warm. The road ahead was long. But with her beside me. I wasn't afraid. Because some things that once you hold on. You never lose them.